coming to you from Las Vegas. This is known as Warzone Live, Monday through Friday. Now at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Great to be with you. All kinds of things happening. Economic issues are my number one thing. Border issues are my number one thing. DEI issues are my number one thing. We had Don Trump Jr. yesterday, and we finish up with Laura Trump today. Laura, Wayne Allyn, how are you? We got a big guest and a great interview today with Dr. Oz with us right now.
Good to see you. I like your tie, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Great to see you. Always great to have you on the show.
Wayne Allyn Root, happy to see you again on the cutting edge of things on your show, whether it's medical, political, you name it, you're on top of it. So just great to hear that. Great to hear that.
So wonderful to be with you again, Wayne. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be with you tonight.
It's great to see you, Wayne. How you been?
Anytime, Wayne. Great to see you.
Hey, Wayne. Great to see you, brother.
Hey, Wayne. Good to be with you.
Wayne, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Lots going on.
Doing great, Wayne. Glad to be here.
Well, thanks, Wayne. I don't see myself as a hero. I'm just trying to keep this community safe.
This is The War Zone, the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. 2.5 million unique daily readers. Also on Rumble under Wayne Root, Wayne Allyn Root, or Warzone. Then on weekends, we got our big show, America's Top 10 Countdown on Real America's Voice TV. While everybody else is giving opinions, I give solutions. And some of them Trump takes, some of them he doesn't. I wish he'd take all of them. This is the Mainstream media. No more mainstream media allowed in. Only Mainstream media, meaning raw truth and in-your-face, mother trucker information. The Root's on fire. Welcome to my show, Warzone Live. Monday through Friday, official podcast, The Gateway Pundit. 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Hey, Wayne Allyn Root, America Speaks. You call in and we talk about it. Your opinions, your comments, your questions. How do you call in? 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-7668. The show airs at midnight, East Coast time, 9 p.m. Pacific, but we tape it at 6 p.m. East Coast time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So you call in at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I talk to you, and it airs that night at midnight. The phone number again, 800-347-ROOT. That number is 24/7. You can leave voicemails. We play your voicemails on the air as well.
Hey, Wayne, what do you think about Obama?
He was a communist, socialist, Marxist radical.
I agree.
Or you can email me, wayneroot@gmail.com. I'll read your email live on the air with your comments or questions. America Speaks. My new book is out, How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. You can only get it at Amazon. How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. Finally, all of their unsung achievements in one book, and it's 100 plus blank pages. Okay, get it? It's a gag gift, and it even says on the front, warning, do not show this book to Democrats. Their heads will explode. And the greatest gag gift ever for conservatives, Republicans, MAGA patriots, and anyone born in the USA. How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. 100 blank pages. Go get 10 copies, 20 copies, give it out to all your friends so they get the message that illegal immigrants have not done anything to make America great. And by the way, understand my theory here. Legal immigrants have done lots of things to make America great. Our whole country is legal immigrants. My grandparents were legal immigrants. Your grandparents were legal immigrants. Your great-grandparents were legal immigrants.
Warning! The Root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star, direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, Wayne Allyn Root, Warzone Live. Welcome to the show. Coming off of, I was about to say Steve Bannon's War Room. That's not what I was on. I'm on so many shows I get mixed up with show I was on. Steve Stern's National Election Integrity Podcast. I just got off that. And now it's time for my own podcast. A lot of things going on. You know, I got to start with let me start with a tweet I put out today. Let me go get it. Hold on a second. I want to read it to you because I think it's really important. You know I'm a fighter. I've always been a fighter. I always will be a fighter. And so here it is. It says, Mayor Pete Buttigieg did a podcast interview where he talked about all the new ways he wants to tax people. And I said, how is it possible that every business owner and working man and woman in America don't give this little prick the middle finger and tell him, A, go F yourself, and B, pound sand. Go breastfeed your twins. Keep your stinking hands away from my mom. It already takes in millions, and almost all of it is stolen through fraud by Somalian immigrants. So instead of trying to figure out how to stop the fraud, they want to steal more of your money and my money. I mean, these people. Mayor Pete says, this is a real thing, he's not joking. Mayor Pete says higher taxes would help America build fast trains. Fast trains? Bullet trains? There's a bullet train they wanted to build in California. They've wasted $200 billion. They haven't laid a foot of track. Nobody wants it. The money's gone. Stolen. Wasted. He said if we had a more reasonable rate of taxation on capital gains and made it harder to pass along inherited wealth, of course that's what he wants. Steal my money. Don't let me give it to my own kids. F you, you little prick. Anyone who'd vote for people like this has got a screw loose. And here's another story about liberals with a screw loose. Do you remember when I told you about the woman who moved to Ireland? She was an American from my neck of the woods, and now she's dead thanks to an Afghan migrant. Police say an Afghan migrant is suspected of murdering her and stuffing her body in a suitcase. He then used her bank cards and sent messages from her phone to family members to make it seem like she wanted to be left alone. Smart guy. I didn't realize migrants are not just vicious killers, but they're actually quite smart, devious. Elizabeth Ross bought into the diversity is our strength lie. This could wind up being my number one story on America's Top 10 Countdown. That progressives have been trying to sell for eons now, and it got her killed and turned into checked baggage. The globalist lefty has relentlessly pushed this failed idea that human beings are interchangeable. Drop people from radically different cultures, radically different religions, and social traditions into the same place, whip everything together, and somehow you'll end up with a tasty harmony smoothie. Diversity is our strength, they tell us. We all know that deadly little slogan skips over some harsh realities. Look at Spain's border if you don't agree, right? But in any case, all of this is like a Disney fairy tale. Let's go on a little Disney trip. Everything will be wonderful. Oh, and let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Do you know how dumb these people are? And they just keep getting murdered. This is like the people that take the COVID vaccine, and I keep saying it's so sad that they're dead, not just because they're dead, but because I can never say I told you so because they're dead. These women who bang Afghan migrants and they kill them, they murder them. I can never tell them how stupid they are because they're dead. And someday I know I'm going to heaven. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I've been a good person all my life, and I'm trying to save America. I'm a patriot. These women are going to hell. They're not going to heaven. They let an Afghan migrant bang them, and now they're dead. Their heads are cut off. They're stuffed in a suitcase. God's not welcoming them in. Oh, you nice person. God is standing at the pearly gates going, sorry, we don't let morons into heaven. Because if we let you into heaven, the next thing you'd say is, let's bring all the immigrants in. Let's bring all the murderers and rapists in. No, you got to go down to hell because you're a moron. Elizabeth Ross went to Greece to help illegal migrants cross into Europe. She met an Afghan man, spent time with him. You know what that means. She banged him. The Afghan man murdered her and put her body in a suitcase and used her bank cards to rob money. There is a valuable lesson here. Don't bang illegal migrants. They're going to kill you and steal your credit cards. Do you get that? Are women this stupid? Don't even answer the question. We know the answer. Democrat women are this stupid. Republican women who don't want to let them in are smart. You just can't believe the stupidity. Here's another great story. California Democrat Party's roughly 380-member executive board gathered at a waterside Sheraton in San Diego this weekend and decided to endorse Prop 40, a one-time 5% tax on the net worth of the state's 200 billionaires. And so now the Democrat Party has endorsed this thing that will be on the ballot in November. And you know that polls show Californians are all for it. And they're going to chase, they're so dumb. All that's going to happen is you chased every billionaire out of your country. No one will, out of your state, excuse me. It should be your country because it should be now changed to the People's Communist Republic of Mexicali. That should be the new name of California. Mexi-California. The Communist People's Republic of Mexi-California. It's not America anymore. It's a communist state, and it's Mexico. Mexico's California. So you're so dumb. You don't realize if you fought for it and you could make it happen on a national basis, a 5% billionaires tax, I'm against it, but I could even understand that because you'd be forcing people to leave America, which a lot of people don't want to do. I don't think I would ever leave America. But when you pass it in one state, your state, every billionaire can move right next door to Las Vegas or right next door to Scottsdale, Arizona, or right next door to Park City, Utah, and or move to Idaho or move to Montana or move to Wyoming or move to Texas or move to Florida or move to South Carolina or move to Nashville, Tennessee, and they're never going to pay the tax. So you've just chased them all away, and they're the biggest taxpayers in your entire state. There'll be no one left to pay the bill. The bills, plural. How could anyone be this stupid? And you can't collect it. They're going to be in another state. You can't go into their bank account in Wyoming from California. And they've got the best lawyers in the world. And if they're smart, their money isn't in an American account anymore, so you're never going to find it. It's in an offshore account. I put my money in Switzerland and the Cayman Islands. You'd never get my money if I was a billionaire and I was trying to avoid California's franchise tax board. So there you have it. The idiots, story after story, shows you how dumb they are. And get this one. I put out a tweet today. It was early this morning. And I said, you know, all those fires in Spokane, Washington, the state of Washington, that are burning hundreds of houses. I said, you know, they're caused by liberal eco-Nazis, liberal environmental Nazis, try to make the case that there's climate change, even though it's all because it's another hot summer, like it's always hot in the summer. But liberal deep blue states don't clean the bottom of forests. They do no cleaning of the forest. So there's lots of fuel for fires. So they burn hotter than they've ever burned. And then they blame it on climate change. It's either an environmental Nazi trying to make the point of climate change, global warming, or it's a liberal who's jealous of all the people who own their own home because he doesn't own his own home or she doesn't own her own home, and she's poor and broke and a loser, and you're mad that other people have nice homes, so they tried to burn down thousands of homes, and they're succeeding, just like the guy who lit the fire in Pac Palisades. It's not natural. These are fires set by liberal, jealous losers. And sure enough, I didn't know it was actually true. I was just guessing. Washington wildfire arson suspect previously charged with first-degree murder. Allyn Farinacci faces first-degree arson charges as fires destroy 700 buildings and force 67,000 to evacuate. The man accused of setting, see, I didn't know they could prove someone said it. I just said my gut instinct says that it was set by an arsonist. The man accused of setting the largest of the wildfires that have destroyed hundreds of buildings, tens of thousands of people running for their lives in eastern Washington, previously charged with first-degree murder before pleading guilty to a reduced manslaughter charge. Allyn Farinacci, 37, arrested Monday on suspicion of first-degree arson in connection with the Old Trails fire, the largest of three blazes burning in and around Spokane, Washington. It's, you see, the arrest came hours after former Washington Governor Jay Inslee, a Democrat, pointed to climate change as the firefighters battled the destructive firefires. Climate change isn't some existential global thing. It's our neighbors. It's our friends, he said. No, it's communists purposely setting fire so that they can burn houses to the ground. This guy, Farinacci, 21 years old at the time, fatally shot his own father during an argument over washing dishes in Mesa, Arizona in 2010. He also shot himself, tried to commit suicide, but survived. He spent 12 years in prison. You understand what's going on? Democrats are mentally ill people. When your father says, son, wash the dishes, they go, I'm going to blow your brains out, Dad. Daddy's dead. Do you know what kind of a mentally messed up human being we're talking about? He's got to be a Democrat voter. Repeat, Democrat voter. Democrat socialists openly call for the erasure of constitutional government. Joe McCarthy was right about everything. Communist movements have been insidious in our country and in our government for so long. Forget about the far left-right paradigm. That concept is now dead. These people are completely detached from reality and morality. Political left is a monster that we've got to fight with everything we've got. This is the greatest existing threat to Western civilization. You know what right wing means today? You got communist, nut job, terrorists, suicide bombers on one side, and they're like 1% of the population, and then everybody else is far right as far as they're concerned. If you have common sense, you're far right. You're to the right of Stalin and Mao, you're far right. These groups are so screwed up. DSA candidates are infesting the Democrat Party. And if you thought typical blue state liberals were extreme, get ready, because the next generation is full Monty communist. In recent interviews with DSA politicians and campaigners, they list a series of goals or demands they intend to enact once they gain enough government power. Here's the list. Erasure of the Electoral College, end of the two-party system, end of the United States Senate, expand or replace the Supreme Court of the United States, 32-hour work week, and extreme increases to minimum wage. I'm sure they want $30 an hour. Paid leave and free college. Defund the police and eliminate the prison system. Slavery reparations, even though no white American alive today has ever had anything to do with slavery, and no black American alive today was ever a slave. Feminism for all, of course, because all their men are, if they're not gay, they're act gay. Open borders and path to citizenship for all illegals. So open the borders, let every illegal in, every foreigner in the world, and they all get amnesty. This is the Democrat Party today. It's not the Democrat Socialists. It's the Democrat Party. So when people tell me Democrats are going to win the midterms, I say, bah humbug, bull spit. They're not going to win the midterms. Anyone with a brain and their eyes open can see that Republicans are weaklings and cowards and bribed by big government and big pharma. But Democrats are communist nutjob suicide bombers. Which one do you choose? I picked the weakling cowards. And not only that, but the real reason Democrats are going to lose, they have no money. Do you understand that? Yeah. All the big money is run away from the Democrat Party, even the big Jewish money. I hear all these podcasters attacking Jews. Every major Jew on Wall Street and on Silicon Valley, they're all behind Trump and they're all behind the Republican Party, because not only do these people want to end capitalism and destroy our country, but these crazy communists hate Jews and want to kill Jews. It's going to lead to the murder, the mass murder, enslavement and murder of Jews. So a lot of Jews have woken up, at least the rich Jews have woken up, and they're giving all their money to the Republican Party. So stop attacking Jews, you morons, because they've come to our side. Maybe not Jewish voters, who cares? They're 2%. They don't make up anything that matters in any election. They all live in New York. Don't worry about it. New York's going Democrat. The only thing you got to worry about is Jewish money. And the Jewish money is all going to the Republican Party and Trump now and the RNC. So stop attacking Jews. Are you stupid? We have people in our party that are just dumb. All right, Zicha Genesis Medicine, the main title sponsor of this show. It's a biotech company. They've been developing medicines to treat Parkinson's disease, reverse type 2 diabetes, heart disease, strokes, chronic pain, and more. Their medical research studies are having tremendous success, and now they're opening a pre-IPO investment opportunity in one of their sister marketing companies. This is your chance to get in before an IPO listing. The placement's at $5 a share at a minimum of a minimum of 2,000 shares. That's a $10,000 minimum investment, which is perfect for my audience, which is not a super rich audience, a working class, middle class audience. People always ask me, what can I invest on 10,000? This is what you can invest with 10,000. If you've been hearing me talk about their great success and you want the opportunity to invest at the pre-IPO stage, go now to a new website they created just for my fans, invest-war.com, invest-war.com. This is not investment advice. I'm not an investment advisor. Always do your own due diligence. But if you've been waiting for the right entry point, this is the time. Go to invest-war.com, war for Wayne Allyn Root, invest-war.com, and get ready to get on the phones, because starting at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock here in Vegas, 3 o'clock Pacific, you can call me and talk about anything you want. 800-347-ROOT. Get on the phone with Wayne Root, 800-347-ROOT, which is 800-347-7668. And if you don't want to get on the phone with me because you're scared of me, which you should be, if you're liberal, you should be scared out of your mind, because my bite is worse than my bark. So get ready to have a debate. But if you don't want to debate me, just leave a voicemail, and I'll be glad to respond to it. 24 hours a day, you can leave a voicemail at 800-347-ROOT, 800-347-7668. Leave a voicemail right now, and I will play it and respond to it. We'll be right back. Wayne Allyn Root, let's go to war! Trump wants to make America the energy capital of the world, make America energy independent again. Here is a project that can help accomplish that, or certainly go a long way to helping accomplish it. I'm so proud to introduce you to a real America hero of the energy industry, Mark Bruner, founder and CEO of Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. Mark is a second-generation oil and gas legend whose companies have created more than $15 billion in shareholder value, including Ultra Petroleum. But Lost Soldier could be bigger than Ultra Petroleum, with what could be the largest gas discovery in the United States in 100 years. It's 40,000 acres. It took them 40 years to piece it together in Wyoming. Mark, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you again, Wayne.
Tell us more about Lost Soldier. What have you got?
Well, I think we've got a really big gas field. I mean, in order to understand why it's just being done now, you got to understand the history. There was a uranium mine out here, and whenever there was a meltdown by 3 Mile Island, they started reclamating this mine and shut it down. 3 years ago, I got a call that basically asked me if I would drill it, because they finally got the release and the reclamation was over, and they had permits to drill it. So we drilled it. And it's the biggest discovery that I've ever made, okay? It's basically deep overpressured gas. Starting at around 13,000 feet, it's like a layer cake. It's just zone after zone of overpressure is what it is. So we're very excited about it. The other great thing is that it's surrounded by infrastructure, legacy fields that are essentially run out, and billions of dollars of infrastructure is there for us to utilize, and we don't have to build it. We're building a 5-mile line to hook into that infrastructure, and we believe we can produce up to 400 million a day within 36 months to fill that line, and then we're going to build a bigger line. That's the plan, and yeah, we couldn't be more excited, Wayne, about what we have.
Hey, Mark, listen, I want to make sure people that contact you, if they're accredited investors and they want to hear more about the project, they want to get involved, they go to lostsoldier.com. lostsoldier.com. Mark's got a whole team. Every one of them has 40 plus years of experience in the energy and oil business, and they will contact you, call you back, or email you back. All right, Wayne Allyn Root. I wrote the book, How Democrats Have Made America Great. It's 100 blank pages. It's a gag gift. It's very funny, and I decided to give a matching book, How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great, 100 blank pages. So buy them both at Amazon.com. Turn them into national bestsellers at Amazon.com. It's the only place I list them because they sell 95% of all books in America now. So there's no point in selling it anywhere else. Just go to Amazon.com. You don't have to walk in a store, bookstore. Is there really such a thing anymore as a bookstore? I don't know. I haven't been at one in 20 years. You don't need to walk into Barnes & Noble. You just go to Amazon.com and you buy the book, and it comes in a day. So my books, just look up Wayne Allyn Root, and you'll immediately see how illegal immigrants have made America great. And the second book you'll see is how Democrats have made America great. Get them both. Get 5-6 copies of each. Give them out at Christmas as great gifts. They're a lousy, $10, $15 each, whatever Amazon's charging today. They decide. I don't. Kind of goes up and down, but $10 or $15 a book, and you've got yourself for $100. You got a whole bunch of Christmas presents. Christmas is coming up fast. Trust me. August is almost gone, and you got September, October, November, 3 months, and it's Christmas season. So get your Christmas presents now from Wayne Allyn Root. Give them to every conservative in your life, and they will laugh their asses off. All right, VRA is the sponsor of this segment. It's my guest segment. I got a great guest standing by, but I want to mention VRA. You know, the stock market, Kip Herriage keeps banging the drums that stocks are going to go up. Stocks are going to go up. It's the turnaround is happening now. Stocks were up 1,000 points today. 1,000 points. I think they were up 300 yesterday. 1,000 today is one of the big days in a long time, and Kip has been right there as usual, always right on the money. He's been around for 23 years. His stock newsletter, 22 years. We have records in. He beat the market 19 out of 22 years, almost 90% of the time. The average Wall Street money manager loses to the market 90%. Who says that? Barron's. Kip wins almost 90. The big shots on Wall Street lose 90. But Kip doesn't just beat the market. He beats the market by a mile. His daily newsletter portfolio up 35.7% last year, over 27% in 2024, over 50% in 2023. How do you like those numbers? Facts matter. The VRA portfolio is up when the market's up, and it's up when the market's down. He has got a crystal ball. He is my personal financial advisor, and the newsletter is free for 2 weeks for everybody to check out. Don't have to spend a dime. There is no risk. Just for my fans, his daily VRA investment letter, completely free for 2 weeks. Join now at VRAinsider.com. Now, you can win just like the big boys, the rich boys do at hedge funds, except much, much bigger at a fraction of the cost. Get your free 2-week membership at VRAinsider.com. All right, my guest is here, Garland Favorito, co-founder of Voter GA, as in Georgia. Voter GA's been on this show before, a repeat performance. He leads the election integrity issue in Georgia for over 20 years. He is a career IT professional, so he knows what he's talking about. These computers are stealing elections. VoterGA.org is his web address, votergaforgeorgia.org. And Garland is on the show. Hey, Garland, how are you?
Wayne, great to be back with you again. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. You know, I talk about stolen elections all day long. It's one of the reasons I've been banned and shadow banned and canceled all over the United States. I don't think anyone's ever been banned more than me. Between stolen elections and COVID vaccine is a killer, and Dr. Fauci deserves the death penalty for mass murder, I've been banned more than anyone in the United States for telling the truth. Just sticking my neck out there and telling the truth. You recently said that Georgia's own records show that U.S. Senator Jon Ossoff did not legitimately make the 2020 runoff, so he should not be a United States Senator. Explain what the records show.
Well, Wayne, on our voterga.org studies tab that anybody can go and see, you can go and look up our security recommendation study. And on page 18, I believe it is, of that, you'll find a Secretary of State's official election reporting for the morning after the election. And it shows that the runoff between, at this point in time, it was a general election between David Perdue, former Senator David Perdue, and Jon Ossoff. Perdue was holding an insurmountable 78,000 vote lead when there were only 13 precincts left to count in Fulton County. 158 of 159 counties had reported. And at that time, according to the Secretary of State's own numbers, David Perdue had a 78,000 vote lead over the runoff margin. Now, that's not just, his total lead was even more than that. But that was over the runoff margin because there was a three-way race, and the Libertarian candidate had about 2% of the vote. So he had made that up, plus another 78,000 on top of that. And there were only, according to Secretary of State's website, 78. He had 78,000 margin vote lead with only 13 precincts left to count. That's maybe 20,000 votes. If you stretch that out, maybe 25,000. So basically, that was an insurmountable lead, and the president of the United States had a similar lead at that time.
Right.
But Secretary Ravensburger allowed 200,000 phantom votes to be added into the totals after the election, when he had already gone on NBC Today to say that it was a done deal, and essentially said that President Trump at that time had an insurmountable need as well. However, we had 200,000 or 300,000 votes, phantom votes injected, and that changed the outcome of both the presidential race and the U.S. Senate race here in Georgia.
And Garland, what's so amazing is it's not even just that he injected 200,000 phantom votes, which is stunning and horrible and fraud and stealing elections, but you would never imagine the 200,000 votes would be like 200,000 to 0 in favor of the Democrats, but they are. When they inject these votes, it's 200,000 to 0. Maybe to make it interesting, they make it 199 to 1,000. But the point is, it's so ridiculous, over the top. There's no other, even in like pure black Democrat neighborhoods, there's no 200,000 to 0 in the history of America and anywhere. But there is when they steal elections. They stick 200,000 late votes in. They're mail-in ballots with no voter ID, and they're all for one side, Democrats. How is that not screaming like a Vegas neon sign? I live in Vegas. Stolen, stolen, stolen. This is insane that we allow this to keep going.
Yeah, well, you saw the same thing in Los Angeles, where
Spencer Pratt.
Nita Raman comes back from 8 points down. She gives a crying election concession speech on election night, and then miraculously makes the runoff out there, besting both Spencer Pratt and Karen Bass miraculously. Saw the same thing out there. But yeah, we've had this in Georgia. It's just unbelievable. And for this reason, no votes should be allowed to be counted after Election Day.
Of course not.
We even have, UOCAVA votes can be delivered on time. We have the technology today. There's no need to even accept those. And by UOCAVA, I mean foreign and overseas and military. Those can come in on time. There we have all kinds of techniques and procedures we can use to ensure that all votes are in on Election Day and nothing else is counted after Election Day.
Well, of course, that's the way they're stealing elections, Garland. That's the way they do it. They get the count on election night. And now they know exactly what number they have to beat. They know you're up by 20,000. They know they've got to put 30,000 in that are all on one side. If you're up by 80,000, they know they got to put 100,000 in. That's how they do it. And that's why they stopped the vote on election night in 2020 to count, and then in the middle of the night, interject whatever they needed to win. Well, nobody was watching. There were no witnesses. They stole it.
Right, and we saw that in Wisconsin, from Milwaukee
Pennsylvania.
County in 2020. We saw it in the other states as well. Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, all had the same scenario. Election was stolen after Election Day. As you said, once you know the number you need, you just inject the ballot you need to win. And we've got to stop this. We have a national security crisis here.
Well, and the Supreme Court just allowed it, so you can't stop it, right? The Supreme Court said it's legal to count after Election Day. That was one of the all-time horrible decisions in the history of the Supreme Court. With a 6-3 conservative Republican advantage, we lost 5-4 because Roberts went the wrong way and Amy Coney Barrett went the wrong way. These people are idiots, or they're bought and paid for, one or the other, Garland, because who would ever support counting days after the election? They could have ended it right there. So now, are you allowed to? I don't even know what the law says. If the Supreme Court allows it, can you as a state turn it down? Can some individual state say, no, we won't allow counting after Election Day? Or because the Supreme Court allowed it, does that mean it's the law of the land and you can't undo it in any state?
Well, no, the state laws still take precedent, Wayne.
Okay.
So, for example, in Georgia, we do not allow any ballots to come in after Election Day, with the exception of the overseas and military. They get 3 additional days. I would argue that that's not necessary any longer. That's something that dates back 20 or 30 years when we didn't have technology to get ballots across from overseas. We don't have that problem today. So we need to fix that, and states can fix it. Some of them have already fixed it. We're halfway there, a little bit better. But we
So clear something up for me. So in 2020, you didn't have that law. That's a new law since 2020, because in 2020, they counted ballots long after Election Day, and you must have changed the law between then and now. Is that correct?
Well, that's a really interesting point, Wayne. So technically, they got around that by saying that the ballots were in and they have so many left to count. So what the law was supposed to say, and in fact, what the law did say in 2020, is that all the counties have to report the number of votes or number of ballots that they have left to count if they have not finished counting. Well, the counties reported their numbers. And as I mentioned before, they reported that they had finished, that they had counted all their ballots. And in spite of this, the Secretary of State somehow came up with another 200,000 ballots that came in after that he alleged were still in the hopper, so to speak, that just had not been counted. So in other words, they've been received, but they have not been counted yet. So technically, you can count after Election Day, but you cannot receive a ballot after Election Day in Georgia unless it's an overseas or military.
It's funny as you say that, because what it strikes me as, to me, when people say, what's your proof, Wayne? What's your proof? No one ever has real proof, but you do have proof. You have common sense proof. The only people that have ever won after Election Day when losing on Election Day were Democrats. In the history of America, no Republican has ever been losing on Election Day and then counted ballots and come back to win 5 days later or 7 days later or 2 weeks later. Only Democrats. That's the only ones. And when someone interjects 200,000 ballots and you go, we don't know where they came from, it's the weirdest thing ever, and 200,000 ballots, it's never a victory for Republicans. It's only a victory for Democrats. Look at Minnesota. I remember when Norm Coleman was winning an election by like 200 votes for U.S. Senate, and Democrats found a box, Garland, of like prison votes, and it was like 300 votes to 0 against Norm Coleman, and he lost the election. Nobody ever finds a box with Republican votes. They only find a box late in the game with Democrat votes. Doesn't anyone find that funny?
I think it's a heck of a coincidence.
Right.
I mean, and in fact, it's a little bit too much to be a coincidence. So,
exactly.
So the point is, we've got to stop this, and we've got to stop it one way or another. It is a national security emergency. If the Supreme Court doesn't want to do anything about it, and Congress doesn't want to do anything about it, it's still the right thing to do. I would hope that the president can basically achieve that with a national emergency declaration.
It's funny because President Trump addressed the nation a few weeks ago, and he announced that millions of declassified intelligence documents have been found. He revealed how U.S. elections have been compromised, continue to be unsecure. He talked about China specifically breached our voter rolls and took, I think it was like 250 million voter rolls. And, the only guy in America that's been talking about this nonstop is me. Nonstop, that I believe COVID was used by China to steal the 2020 election, and Democrats worked with them. I really believe that. I believe that China said, look, you want Trump out, we want Trump out, we got to destroy his economy first. So let's do that with COVID, and then we'll use COVID to scare people that they shouldn't come out and vote. They can vote by mail-in ballot, and everyone will vote by mail-in ballot with no voter ID. We'll interject millions and millions of fake ballots into the system, and next thing you know, Biden has 81 million votes, more than Obama ever got, more than Reagan ever got, more than Trump ever got, more than Clinton ever got, more than Obama ever got. It is the most ridiculous thing in history. He never campaigned. He hid in his basement in Delaware and he got 81 million votes, and no Democrat before or since has ever come close. It was fraud.
Well, and he ran the campaign out of his basement. So if it was so successful, why didn't Kamala Harris run her campaign out of the basement?
We should run our campaigns out of the basement. It's so successful.
Yeah, exactly. But, Wayne, so you mentioned China. There is corroborating evidence for what you're saying in these declassified intelligence documents. And that was the piece that just blew me away more than anything else, was the Chinese influence on our elections dating back to about 2018. And the declassified intelligence just lays out this incredible story about what they were doing. They had the 20,000 fake driver's licenses that were imported into around the country to get fake voter registrations. They hacked, bought, or stole 220 million voter records to mine the Americans' PII, their personal identifying information. And then, but then probably the most amazing thing of all to me was they had this massive election influence campaign going on using not only just social media, but
BLM. Black Lives Matter. That was all backed by China to try and create crisis and chaos and make Trump look bad, riots in the streets, unrest everywhere.
Well, exactly. They were using racism and everything they could to denigrate President Trump. And it goes, the intelligence documents go through all this. And it's absolutely stunning once you read them to see how massive an attempt that they were trying to implement to unseat President Trump in 2020 and beyond.
They are such traitors, and they're traitors today. Because you know what I said the other day on TV? It was one of my America's Top 10 Countdown, and one of my Final Four 2 weeks ago was that, again, my gut has never been wrong on TV. Whatever I say, people go, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist, and it always comes true. Every single time, for years on TV. My gut says Democrats are working with Iran. I believe they're trying to prolong the Iran war. They're telling Iran, tell Trump you'll do a deal, and then get out of the deal, and then do a deal, and then get out of the deal, and keep the war going until the midterms. Make sure that you make Trump look bad. And they're passing along, I believe, classified information. Whatever they find out, they give to Iran, so Iran knows everything, every move we're going to make, so that Trump looks foolish and loses the war heading into the midterms. I really do believe they're complete traitors, and I think they sold out to China in 2020, and now they're helping Iran win the war. Or try to win the war. Obviously, Iran is not going to win the war, but they're helping them extend the war.
Yeah, and Wayne, it's not just the Democrats. Probably the most chilling thing in this all of the documents were that the U.S. intelligence officials were in the tank with the Chinese Communist government. They were conducting a massive cover-up of the Chinese influence into the 2020 election throughout the 2020, the year of 2020. And it was not just the CIA, which I had always thought was involved, but it was also FBI, massive FBI and NSA, and even the INR, the State Department's intelligence bureau as well. They were all in this conspiracy to prevent the President of the United States from knowing that the Chinese Communist Party was trying to rig the U.S. 2020 election.
Well, and listen, everybody's saying, everyone on our side is saying what you're saying, that the Chinese tried to rig 2020. They didn't try to rig it. They succeeded, Garland. They beat Trump, and they beat him by doing what you're saying. In every single state, Trump was ahead by huge margins, and then when we woke up the next morning, he was suddenly behind. Every vote that came in was 200,000, 300,000 to zero against Trump. It was an obvious steal. Anyone could see it. You'd have to be a moron. You know who's in on it? The media's in on it. The judges are in on it. All the liberal judges. I mean, it's so hard to defeat all these people. Everyone out there, they're all part of the deep state and the DC swamp. A friend of mine has a sister. His sister is one of the most important judges in America. She's in charge of a gigantic state, all the judges in their state, Garland. And he tells me, and again, I wouldn't say any names. I never want to compromise a friend, even though this person's a terrible person. his sister, but I'm not going to ever name a name and embarrass my friend. But she's a judge. She's in charge of all the judges in a state, and he says she's a lifelong Republican. And now she hates Trump with such a passion. There's something weird going on. All these people, whether they're Democrats, communists, or rhino Republicans, they have this obsessed hatred of Trump, like Glenn Close in that famous movie. They want to boil a bunny rabbit to defeat Trump. They all hate Trump so badly. It's like a sickness. And his sister is this important judge. Her whole life now is hating Trump. She's a lifelong Republican, but she hates Trump. It's so weird. In my opinion, all the judges are part of a government employees union. And that's what changes them all. They're all part of the government, which makes them part of the deep state and the DC swamp, and they want their pensions to be bigger and bigger. They're all against the people. They only care about Big Brother. They want the government to get bigger and bigger. And if Trump wants to cut government, they hate him, and they're obsessed with hating him. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, and we have had enough corrupt decisions from judges in our lawsuits to prove that that's true, Wayne. It's just awful. I mean, the judges, to me, I think that's probably the thing that blew me away also as much. I never realized when I got into this and filed a few cases years ago to try to ensure honest elections, I never realized how corrupt the judges are in America. The whole judicial system is
filthy.
Filthy.
Disgusting. Filthy, disgusting. Dirty, filthy, disgusting. I think bribed. I got to tell you, I don't think it's just they're mentally, they're mentally nuts and communist. I honestly think the only reason a judge would take the side again and again of illegal aliens who murder and rape American citizens is because they're on the payroll of China or they're on the payroll of the Mexican drug cartel. And I know there's nothing I'm saying is nutty because people have already forgotten. If you watched old gangster movies from the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, every judge in New York was on the mob's payroll. Every police captain in New York was on the mob's payroll. Well, the money that the Mexican drug cartel makes and the money that China makes off of illegal drugs getting through the border is so big, it makes the old mob look like a joke. They're talking about, hundreds of billions of dollars a year. You don't think they're bribing judges? Of course they're bribing judges. And they're bribing police chiefs and police sheriffs. Of course, and they're bribing Democrat politicians. There is so much money in drug trafficking and human trafficking and child sex trafficking and pedophilia that I think they've just bribed the whole Democrat Party, all the judges, and a lot of rhino Republicans too. They're on the take.
Exactly, and it's. I know you said this before, but it's basically a uniparty.
Right.
The machines have elected the judges, or selected them would be a better word. So they're compromised. And basically what we end up is Trump going against the entire uniparty, which includes, almost all the Democrats and quite a few Republicans. So it's an uphill battle, but he's got the people behind him, and he's been strong all along. So I'm hoping that he will really continue to be strong and come down hard on and to solve this election integrity crisis that we've got going on in America right now.
Well, last thing I'll bring up, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm the guy who invented no tax on overtime, and I'm the guy who invented no tax on Social Security and brought up to Trump, and he adopted them, and they helped him win the election, and then they're the biggest part of his accomplishments so far in his second term of his big, beautiful bill. No tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. I invented those. So I've invented a new idea. I'm a very creative guy. I'm a businessman, and I keep coming up with solutions. I invented national security emergency for elections. And others are talking about it now, but I don't know if they're acknowledging that it was Wayne Root's invention, that you can't pass the SAVE Act. It's never going to pass. You're never going to get them to throw out the filibuster. I've said this for 6 months. It's unpassable. It will not pass. Too many rhinos, never make it happen. And even if you did pass it, it does nothing to stop many of the things that cause stolen elections, like mail-in ballots with no voter ID and like machine voting. We need paper ballots. You can do a national security emergency for elections, and only a president can declare it, and then they can't take it to court. There are no legal challenges. The Supreme Court ruled in 1983. You can only upend it or overturn it with 2/3 vote of both houses of Congress if a president declares a national security emergency. So he needs to declare a national security emergency for elections. And I believe, from my contacts at the White House, he's going to do it by late August, early September. And Democrats are not going to be able to stop it. And it's going to give us proof of citizenship, photo ID, mail-in ballots are going to be severely, strictly limited, and hopefully paper ballots. It might be too late for it, I don't know. But I think it'll include no machines, paper ballots. That's the only way we can save the midterms, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you too. And I just want to emphasize that last point is that we have got to ensure that we can count the votes correctly and accurately. The machines are counting them. Logic and accuracy testing cannot detect malware-based fraud. The audits that most states are doing are fake. They don't really work. There's no transparency. They secretly count the votes with secret proprietary software. Then they secretly preserve the ballots. All that secrecy has to end. It has to be out in front. And then may the best man or woman or party win. Whoever wins won, and everybody knows it, and they can accept the results if they can prove it to themselves. So that's where we've got to be in future American elections.
Our only chance is patriots like Garland Favorito. He's the co-founder of Voter GA, as in Georgia, leading the election integrity issue in Georgia for over 20 years. Brave man, puts himself right on that line. Career IT professional. His website, voterga.org, voterga.org. Garland, we appreciate everything you do. Thank God you're fighting for us in Georgia. We need Garland Favorito in all 50 states. We don't have it, but I'm sure there's a few other people similar to you, but there's only one Garland. You're the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. And our volunteers are great. That's what makes us great.
We need to clone you. We need a clone of Garland in all 50 states. I pray we can make it happen. And we get a national security emergency, too, so we can win the midterms, or Trump's presidency is basically neutered. All right, that's it. Thank you, Garland. We're going out for the night. We're done. It's getting kind of... I jam it all into one segment. Let me give the phone number to call, 800-347-ROOT. In about an hour and 5 minutes, I'll be on America Speaks, and you can speak to me, 1-800-347-ROOT, 1-800... We say goodnight. The sponsor of this show is Energized Health. I got in their program in November of 2020. Look at me. I'm now 65 years old. That was me at age 50. That was me at age 50 on the screen right now. That was 15 years ago. That's me today, 15 years later in the gym. I look like a new man. I look at least 15 years younger than 15 years ago. I've reversed aged because Energized Health is my fountain of youth. It energizes you, and it does it by hydrating you. It's all about hydration. And no one has ever done what I've done in the history of TV, 4 new shows past the age of 61. That's because of Energized Health. It also works effectively, it's important to note, alongside GLP-1. So if you're already on Ozempic, you're already on Mounjaro or any of those terrible side effects, this will work side by side synergistically to minimize or completely eliminate bad side effects of the GLP-1s. It's fat loss the healthy way. Right now, Energized Health offering my fans 40% off. Just tell them Wayne Allyn Root or WAR and you get 40% off. Go to energizedhealth.com, set up an appointment and tell them WAR, and you get on the same journey as me and you get 40% off, and hopefully you start your own journey of reverse aging, your fountain of youth. Energizedhealth.com, promo code WAR, 40% off. I'm Wayne Allyn Root. Have yourselves a great evening. Phone number 1-800-347-ROOT. Right now, you can leave a voicemail 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can leave voicemails on that line, and I will play them on the show, 1-800-347-ROOT. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, we won't see you tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. I'm with Donald Trump tomorrow. President Trump coming to Vegas. I'll be with him. So I will be off tomorrow afternoon. There will be no podcast tomorrow. I'll be right back on Thursday. Have yourselves a great night. I'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye. Hey, Wayne Allyn Root, America Speaks. You call in and we talk about it. Your opinions, your comments, your questions. How do you call in? 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-7668. The show airs at midnight, East Coast time, 9 p.m. Pacific, but we tape it at 6 p.m. East Coast time 3 p.m. Pacific. So you call in at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I talk to you, and it airs that night at midnight. The phone number again, 800-347-ROOT. That number is 24/7. You can leave voicemails. We play your voicemails on the air as well.
Hey, Wayne, what do you think about Obama?
He was a communist, socialist, Marxist radical.
I agree.
Or you can email me, wayneroot@gmail.com. I'll read your email live on the air with your comments or questions. America speaks. Hi, this is Wayne Allyn Root. If you're sick and tired of supporting woke companies, I have great news for you. You don't have to anymore. You can shop where my family shops at GreatPatriotStore.com. My team researched thousands of companies for my best-selling book, The Great Patriot Boycott Book, and one stood out above all, GreatPatriotStore.com. This is the answer to inflation. Hundreds of household products that you're already buying. Much higher quality, no toxic chemicals, delivered right to your door at incredible prices. 20,000 American families are joining every month, and you should too. And now they've got the beef, pasture raised with no hormones, antibiotics, or mRNA ever, exclusively available only to their members. Like Costco or Sam's Club, you need to become a member. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. Fill out the form and they'll contact you right away. And boom, you're a member. For a limited time, the annual membership is $1. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. That's GreatPatriotStore.com. Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn Root, CEO, conservative TV and radio host, and best-selling author. I believe in America and American exceptionalism. America is now focused on energy independence. Enter Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery. The first 4,000 feet drilled so far are estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas, making it one of the largest natural gas discoveries in the Rocky Mountain region in the last 30 years. This is how we power the AI future of America with clean natural gas. Headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose previous public companies, Pinnacle Energy and Ultra Petroleum, delivered spectacular returns for investors. At its peak, a $10,000 investment in Ultra Petroleum turned into over $13 million. To learn more about this Lost Soldier oil and gas opportunity, go to LostSoldier.com. Fill out the contact form. That's LostSoldier.com. The Root's on fire. Welcome back. This is Warzone Live. We're the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. And oh, do we have a great guest for you today, because still, in the end, illegal immigration and boys and girls schools and transgender this and transgender that, the open border. There's a million issues in the world. But to me, the number one issue is making money. I'm like Trump, man. Making money's in my DNA. Making money's in my blood. I'm always looking for ways to make more money. In the end, that makes an awful lot of problems go away for the nation and for the middle class and for the people of this country. Making money is got to be our number one goal. Economy, jobs, GDP. That's what really matters. So I got a great guest for you to talk about it. Lost Soldier Oil and Gas has been the sponsor of this show for almost a year now. Do you realize? It's been about a year that they've been the sponsor of my podcast, my national radio show, my national TV show on Real America's Voice TV network. And it's really an amazing property. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery, estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas, making it one of the largest natural gas discoveries in the Rocky Mountain region, in the last 30 years. And they have a management forecast projecting just the first 25 wells to produce 400 million cubic feet per day of natural gas, and by 2035, targeted production of over 1 billion cubic feet a day. An amazing project. And I invested in this project not once but twice last year. I intend to invest a third time this year. And I want to introduce you to the project, and I want to introduce you to the guy who is the CEO and the chairman of the board who invented this project. Mark Bruner, CEO of Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. The website, by the way, lostsoldier.com, lostsoldier.com. Mark, welcome to the show. I haven't had you on in quite a while. You've been running around the world raising money. You've been in Europe. You've been in Switzerland. You've been in Saudi Arabia. You're all over the world. You're an amazing guy. You're always traveling. You're always raising money. You're always running your company. You are a busy man like me. That's hard to nail you down, so it's great to have you back on the show.
So wonderful to be with you again, Wayne. Good to see you.
All right. So you're a second-generation oil and gas man. You're actually a second-generation oil and gas legend. Your previous public companies, Penteco Energy, produced about 100 to 1 for every dollar invested. Investors and stockholders made $100, and Ultra Petroleum, spectacular return for investors. That one was 1,000 to 1 for every dollar invested. People got back 1,000. It was one of the biggest stocks of the entire decade of I think it was the 90s, right? It was the go-go 90s. Right. And that stock was one of the highest flyers on Wall Street. So Lost Soldier is an amazing, amazing project, but tell people why it's so amazing, why I guess you think it's even biggest of your career, that would make it bigger than Penteco or Ultra Petroleum. Ultra Petroleum, 1,000 to 1 return on investment, and you say this is the biggest of your career. What do you base that on?
Well, and when I compare it with Ultra Petroleum, it has a sequence of regionally pervasive sands where we can see, based on the seismic interpretation, we can drill up to 500 horizontal wells so far that we could see. And the other wonderful thing is that no one could drill this for 50 years. We've known where all the basins are for 50 years. All of them have been drilled, as far as I know, except this one, because there's a uranium mine out here that was, whenever 3 Mile Island melted down in the early 80s, they started reclamating this mine. Kennecott did 3 years ago. They finished the reclamation. I got a call. I drilled it. And as they say, the rest is history. Certainly the largest gas field I've ever found. Right now, if you compare it with some of the other basins, there's thousands of feet of layer cake type, regionally pervasive, overpressure sands. It's very much like the Haynesville and the Utica. If any of you have heard of those plays, you've probably heard of a guy named Jerry Jones that owned the Dallas Cowboys. That's like his #1 play now, okay, the Western Haynesville. And I would encourage everyone to compare what we have with the Western Haynesville, because I think it certainly is comparable. The difference here is we're the only operator. No one else is in here. It's just us. We made the discovery. We have legacy infrastructure that is on its last throws. We can tie into all that legacy infrastructure. We're laying a 5 Mile line to start producing gas this year. And, the plan is, when we finish this private placement, to be producing about 400, 500 million cubic feet a day, 300 million a year in cash flow within 36 months. And then we plan to build a 42 to 46 line 50 miles away to the trading hub One Center, about 10 times that. There's another guy named Warren Buffett that's looping on that line that going out to California. So, as you all know, he's no fool. So he's going to send all his gas out to Pacific Corp and the West Coast. So we hope to be able to do that too. Anyway, that's pretty much a summary, Wayne.
So give me some new updates, because remember, I'm one of your investors. I invested not once but twice last year. Very big, healthy investments, by the way, from Wayne Root. And I plan to invest again this year. What's happened between the last time we spoke on TV, which was probably 6 months ago, although you've had your president of your company and your COO talking to me on TV as well, but you were busy traveling. Give us some updates from last year. What exciting things have happened, and tell me what will happen this year in the year 2026.
Well, I think, one of the things that we've done is that you're always looking for permits to drill. You're always looking for right-of-ways and other things in order to be able to lay the pipelines. All this is completed, okay? It's finished, okay? And so we're going to start building this pipeline sometime in July, when what we call the winter stips are off and we can get in here and lay that pipeline. We think it'll take, 45 to 60 days to finish the pipeline. Then we'll be producing gas, okay? So that's going to happen this year. We're very excited about that. The other thing that I think is important is
is that we have a deal with the federal government. All the leases that we have, they're federal and state leases, they've been put into what we call a federal unit, which means that it's all those different leases. We have like 56 of them. They're one lease now. It means that we can orderly develop this gas field with the cooperation of the federal government. They've stamped the deposit commercial. So all those things have happened. And yeah, we think we're going to be able to do that. We're hoping to be able to drill some of the deep overpressured horizontals this year, at least one, maybe two of those. We're anticipating 50 million a day plus wells. They're going to be expensive. You know, they're $20 to $30 million a piece. But when you're producing those kind of rates, they pay out very quickly. And so, you know, possibly within a year. So something, you know, the field next to us, Lost Soldier Field, which I named my company after, that field's been producing for over 100 years, produced 450 million barrels, still does 3,500 barrels a day. And so some of the deeper stuff that we're looking for and we think we'll find some of those this year as well. So very exciting times for us. And by the way, we also drill when we're not drilling for ourselves for Enbridge, which transports about 30% of the natural gas in the United States. And actually, we're entering into a 23 oil contract with them. I think that would speak very highly of our drilling people and their abilities. And, you know, we're very excited about that relationship with them as well. So we're going to be having revenue out of our drilling company, out of our pipeline company, out of our working interest. And those people that invest will also enjoy a package of overriding royalty as well. So, yeah.
And don't forget, the thing that got me was, you know, I have seen a lot of potential in my life. I think this is the most potential I've ever seen. But potential is one thing. That doesn't mean you ever deliver. You have a track record that's amazing. That's great. Penteco, Ultra Petroleum, very impressive. That was a decision pusher for me. And then, of course, what else can you invest in? Like if I put $100,000 into stocks and those stocks happen to go down, I would get no tax break. It would do nothing for me until the day they went back up. You get a $3,000 deduction on stock losses in a given year. But with oil and gas, it's the most generous tax deduction you can ever get. It's 70% write-off the first year you invest. So if I put $100,000 in, I get a $70,000 tax deduction on my tax return in the first year, and the other 30 over the next, I think, 3 years, right?
Well,
so that's pretty impressive.
There's been a change. It's 100% now, not 70%.
Really?
Under the Trump tax bills, okay?
But that's for this year coming up, 2026.
Yes.
I invested in 2025, so I have to go by the old rules, I assume, yeah?
I think the other thing, too, is that the viewers need to realize that we don't have to process any of this. This is 93% methane, CH4. So no processing. We don't have to build any plants. When we put it into the pipeline, it can go directly into homes. We have people contacting us about putting in data centers. There's a lot of options here that we're going to be looking at, Wayne. So we'll keep you updated as things happen this year.
All right, data centers would seem to be the way to go. That's all anyone talks about now is data centers and how much they use so much, energy. Well, you've got the energy for them, so it would seem like would be a profit center. Last thing, for accredited investors who want to learn more and get involved, they go to lostsoldier.com, and then what happens? Someone gets back to them?
Yeah, we'll get back to them. We give them the information so they can access. They can access all the information. We'll answer their questions, and we look at all our investors as a family. It's the Lost Soldier families, like what we just need to say, right?
Well, with my big investment, I better be a good family member. I better be loved. Better be loved, Mark.
Well, we'll let you move in. We'll let you move in.
Second home in Wyoming. LostSoldier.com. LostSoldier.com. Go there. Give them your contact information. They'll get right back to you and show you how you can be involved. It's the right project, right time, the right president, the right energy secretary, the right CEO, Mark Bruner, with an incredible, spectacular past record. Thank you, Mark. LostSoldier.com.